So what I've got is the kettle boiling. It's been cooling down now actually. I did have the kettle with some warm water in it. Now you don't want the water to be hot. You definitely don't want it to be cold. Just a little bit above lukewarm is what you're looking for. My tools ready. Some tweezers, some cotton buds, and the instruction sheet, all too important. Okay, I should mention some decal scissors. Yes, some decal setting solution using mr.mark softer. You really should be trialing your decal setting solutions on every decal manufacturer. They're not always compatible. But just drop it in the water there. When the water has soaked into that decal completely, it's made it nice and wet. Pull it out using a wet cotton swab. Slide it onto your kit. Place it where you want it to sit. And in this particular example, we actually, according to the instructions, have just missed that bullet wound that we put in there. So, yes, decal setting solution is not really required, but I will apply some anyway, just to make sure that this decal contours to this satin finish that I'm using here. Now ideally it's ideal to put a gloss coat. Unfortunately I was out of gloss and a bit impatient to get moving with this. So took a chance and went with a satin finish. How's that look? Maybe a bit askew actually. If you do make a mistake, just a matter of wetting it a little. And just wiping off the excess water. Pretty much about it. Now with this mr.mark softer, what I have noticed, and this is typical of a lot of the solutions on the market, is that when you first apply them, you give it about a minute or two. You don't want to flood the decal, but after applying it, and we'll see if we can capture this on film, some decals, actually just about all decals, will start to wrinkle, and it looks absolutely terrifying. And you get so tempted to actually start touching the decal, but the best thing to do, and you can actually see that actually, just under to, I wonder if you can pick it up on camera. You can just start to see the decal slightly wrinkling on the edges. Now that's absolutely normal. What you want to do go against all instincts and just leave that. Like every single part of my being right now is saying, do something about it, these decals are getting destroyed. But seriously, the best thing you can do is put it aside and think about something else. But I'm not going to use that luxury today because I want to get on with the decal work. Just be careful not to touch it, because what's actually happening here is the decal is actually softening up. Now if we had any panel lines or compound curves there, or complex curves of any sort, you start to find that the decal start to conform to that. Then when it's been for a little while, you'll notice that it all just flattens itself out and really settles down nicely, and you'll never notice. Yeah, you can just see that. I'm not sure, hopefully you pick it up on camera, but I'll show you once it is all done how that completely goes away. Now just about the little note on these decals. First impressions, they seem to be rather thin and opaque. By that I mean you don't get too much bleed through of colour on the decal. There is some slight bleed through, but definitely not too bad really. They seem to be quite thin. So far they haven't torn easily. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that continues to be the case. When these decals have been drying, and you'd want to wait at least a couple of days before the next step, which is just to seal them in. Now, sealing decals with either a clear or flat coat is a personal choice. See how that decal is sticking out there. The best way is to, the safest way, is to get a hot towel and just press that down. That's safe on just about all decals and it'll settle down nicely. Unfortunately I don't have one ready. I didn't plan to ahead too well. So the alternative is the solution that we were talking about earlier, this mr.mark softer decal setting solution. Just brush that on, just gently help it settle down, and that will hopefully adhere to this curve. And there you have it, as good as new.